Hi, it's Ken. So today we're going to make a hanging house plant using Karen Burniston's dies. And it's going to be a Happy Mother's Day card. Here's what it looks like from the side. First, you're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sets. Um, that includes vine-like plants, die cuts. So the pot of the plant, I used the stocking and just trimmed it down, and it actually looked like a pot. So now I'm just going to color all the plants, and I only did a few flowers because I think hanging plants don't have a lot of flowers. Mostly it's just dangling um, greenery that just hangs down left and right. So this is I was gonna do these little green balls. I forgot what it's called. The little green balls? No. Uh, String of balls? String of pearls. Pearls, I think. String of pearls with the new Nouveau drops to make it more dimensional. These are from the Beach Shack, little tiny house. Um, these little palms. And basically, what we're doing today is there's only a few Karen sets that works on the cover of the card. Most of them you have to put on the inside of the card because it requires the fold to power the V fold or whatever parallelogram. But for it to be on the exterior, oh, here I'm putting little wine glasses, making them Lily of the Valley. But anyway, you need a pull tab usually for the pop-up to work on the cover. So Karen has the waterfall, the triple flip, and a flip frame. I believe those are the three that works for the cover. So today we're taking the Rockin Rectangle and making that into a pull tab. And then on the inside, we're going to take the postage and going to make that into a curved, more like an uh, iron fence type um, mechanism. So here's the rectangle, and I will link Karen's tutorial in the description. Basically, it's very complicated to explain, but easy to put together. You have these two legs, and these two legs are going to crisscross, and one is going to go in each of these slots. And so it's going to form like what you see on the crosswalk, a walking signal, the, the, the legs crisscrossing. And with the folds, it's going to give you a springy action. So it's going to extend whatever's on top up a little bit and forward a little bit. That's basically what it does. Usually, like I said, it goes on the inside of the card, but today we're going to make it the outside. So I used the waterfall set that has an arrow and cut it a hole out of the bottom so you know where to pull. And also on the card base, I used the waterfall has a little divot, a half circle divot that I die cut out, and I splattered all over the place. So you line up the bottom and you line up the top and you flatten it and you just glue the top tab over, and then you make a little sleeve, like a little ring around the tab, and you glue that on. I've been really into gel printing lately, so this is one of my experiments that I'm gonna glue on the cover. But account for the mechanism itself. You don't want to cover that up, so you're gonna give it a little space, like that, a little notch, just so you don't affect the movement of the mechanism. So here you basically already um, made it into a pull tab. You're going to put the house plant on top. I just did one of those eyelets, and glued it on top between to make it look like one of those hanging hooks or holes. Um, so just want to make sure it glues down real well, and then we're going to test out the pull tab. Yeah, it works. Um, but there is a problem. The problem is that with this suddenly turned to a pull tab, it actually doesn't have a stop. So if it would just go all the way back and sort of lose control over it. So you need to have a backstop. Just take a piece that's as wide as the strip and then make it long and just insert it until it hits the end. And then you're going to trim it off and glue it together. So it naturally hits at the end and acts as a stop. So just put it underneath your current piece, and you can color in the bottom piece so the arrow has a color to it. Here's for the inside. This is the postage pop-up. Instead of making it a box with these folds, you're going to only do the two small tab folds and the fold at the end. Where there's a cutout, I just put a piece of scotch tape and glue in that little piece, just so there's not a hole right there. And then I take a bone folder and curve the whole piece instead of making those three folds. This way it'll curve instead of forming the cube. So take the side with the notch and glue it onto the big fold. Once you make sure it's glued together, it should still pass through the little arch side, and this is where you're going to fold on the tab. It looks like a bridge, basically. And the same works as the postage, which I will also link to, but Karen's demonstration is a little different, but you'll get the idea. I'll still link her tutorial. You're gonna glue the tab to the opposite side of the fold. Make sure it's glued down really well, and then you're gonna flatten the whole thing, and then also put glue on the two little tabs. So got glue everywhere. Good thing it dries clear. So when it's glued down, you're going to put a tab of glue on, a dot of glue on each tab. These little nubs. And then flatten it and just fold down. Make sure it sets. And then when you open it up, you'll see it curves up, just like the iron gate, iron fence, whatever it's called. Anyway, it's splatter time again. I have these new watercolor that's metallic, and it's really fun to splatter. And here comes my gel printing again. Have some border cut out, and then have Mother's Day onto the curved arch piece. Actually, it's surprisingly dimensional. So here's the finished card with the external pull tab. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Thank you.